Hello, and welcome to the Tech Done For You interview series. I'm your host, Gina Decker, and I'm here with Dr. Ilona Berkoben. And I am so excited about this interview because I am someone who gets a lot of stomach aches. And so as soon as I heard that Ilona specializes in gut health, I was like, wow, I really need to talk to her. So I hope this will be information that will be helpful for you as well. And so if you're not familiar with Ilona, I'm going to read off her bio. Ilona is a retired MD turned holistic health and wellness coach. Practicing medicine, she could see firsthand the devastating effects of poor dietary and lifestyle choices. Losing her father to diabetes and overcoming her own personal struggles led her to create a successful coaching career and ignited her spark to live remission, which is reversing chronic debilitating diseases by changing diet and lifestyle. As a health and wellness coach, she specializes in gut health. All disease begins in the gut. That's a quote from Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine. So great health begins in the gut as well. So welcome, Ilona.
Thank you, Gina. So happy to have you here. It's my pleasure.
Yes. And I'm very excited about this topic. I know it's not necessarily a technology topic, but in my mind, it's the technology of our bodies,
Yes.
And so it's just as important as any other technology that we work with. And it's something that affects our day-to-day lives. And I had no really idea probably until I developed some food allergies in high school, really just how important nutrition is. And I had really no clue, and even today I struggle sometimes
Mm-hmm.
with what to eat, especially if I'm eating out. If I plan at home, I tend to do a little better, but if I'm eating out, I tend to make bad choices and then I regret it later with the stomach aches. So I know that you've had your own personal struggles. Could you share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, sure. Yes. I'm all of my life, I watch my health, my diet. Then a few years ago, I had dental surgeries. And after every surgery, I received strong doses of antibiotics. And at that time, I was taking probiotics here and there, but my knowledge was far behind what I know today about the gut microbiome and gut health. So I was taking probiotics, but not in the right way. Then my changing years, the hormonal disbalance, so those two contributed that I started gaining weight. And not only gaining weight, I was unable to lose it. And I was started having chronic sinus infections, headaches, low energy. So it was ongoing for about almost 3 years. And I didn't know, I couldn't understand why, because I eat healthy, I eat clean, I exercise and manage my stress, but I wasn't still well until I started researching. And the whole thing had happened unexpectedly. I submitted my information to present at a health convention because I was so certain that the deadline is over. They already have enough speakers, so probably they won't need me. And guess what? Next day I received an email, we would love to have you. I said, oh my goodness, what to talk about? And at that time, everyone started having online summits, webinars on gut health. I said, let me look into that. And that was an instant love because I realized really that is my problem. So I started taking different kind of probiotics, implementing the knowledge I was learning day to day, and I started seeing changes. So I started losing weight, my energy improved, my stamina, my brain fog lifted. So I was back to my old self. So that is, it's unbelievable. Our microbiome is something, it even today amazes me. Every day when I read a new information. And what is a big problem our lifestyle. We didn't pay attention because mostly we didn't know, how the processed food affects our gut microbes, how the conventional meat with the antibiotics or growth hormone residues are enough to damage our microflora. So if we look at the general what's going on in our society, that the huge number of autoimmune diseases at younger and younger age, and all the metabolic disorders, diseases that caused by inflammation, which is again great that you can tie back to gut health, either as a gut, as a anatomy, the mucosa in the integrity, or the microbiome. So that is what our basically, unfortunately, our lifestyle is killing us. So that is I'm so passionate about to talk and teach people, because many times people don't know. And once you have the information, the knowledge, then probably you will make better choices because you know. So it's so huge, it's unbelievable, and so many diseases that when I was in medical school, for example, diabetes type 2 in children was unknown. When the child had diabetes, that was the type on the autoimmune. And look what we're facing today, younger and younger children, diabetes type 2, which is lifestyle related. So it's a huge need to spread the word.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I mean, I remember even growing up myself, childhood obesity was not a problem. I think, it's kind of come more within the last maybe 10, 20 years, that it's become a problem. And it's because of, the standard American diet that we're all kind of advertised to every day, on the commercials and
yes,
and everything. And so it's very tempting to just kind of want to have a hamburger or whatever it is, and not really realize that there's consequences, to eating that way. And you did mention that you went to medical school, and I know, some people on my list don't really know you well. So, I mean, can you describe at least your experience in medical school, how you kind of came to really do what you do now?
Yes, as a young girl, I was a veterinarian. I had my hospital years of shoe boxes were my hospital beds, and my patients were snails with broken shells, birds with broken wings, sometimes even a little wild rabbit, baby rabbit with broken paws. So I was tending my patients so carefully, but the next day they will mostly escape. So that was my big disappointment. But anyhow, I was always the person who cared, and it was so natural to go into medical school. So when I started medical school, I was the happiest person on planet Earth. And in my former country, which is Serbia now, the things works differently. So when we graduate, we are required to work few years like general practitioners, and then we go into specialty training. So I started working, and I was living my bliss. It was wonderful. But sooner or later, the year by year, I started getting frustrated because I realized that prescribing medication won't cause the real healing. If we just suppress the symptom, then many patients were non-compliant. The diet change, the lifestyle change is not easy. You have to break habit, you have to implement new habits, which is not easy. So started the frustration more and more and more, because you don't see the satisfaction, the real transformation. Then we had our not so nice civil war when we worked without anything, and that just caused a total burnout. And I went into specialty training in the meantime, which was dermatology. And again, I practiced, but I lost that zest, that spark that makes you your life worth living. Every day you jump up, oh my gosh, let me face the new day. So slowly and surely, then I moved to the States and I went through my exams. I wanted to go back here, and I spent a few months in New York City to do hands-on experience, and I realized this is not for me. So, because the way I practice is different. With due respect, absolutely. I highly respect my colleagues here, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't me. So I couldn't see myself. So I went to the research. Then going to research, it was, again, not for me because I like connection. I like connecting with people. Um, when I do coaching now, and regardless how tired and stressed out I am, when I do a session with a client, I'm a new person. So I needed that connection, that interaction. And I started soul searching, what can I do with myself? All that background and knowledge. Research is not for me. Sitting in a lab, it's not for me. So, and the coaching came. Through Toastmasters, I learned about coaching. So I said, oh my goodness, this is it. So that is how everything started. So I enrolled at the coaching school, one, the second one, the third one. I'm right now in the functional medicine school, so I'm a constant learner. So that is how everything started and put me to the point around today. So it's an amazing journey. And the other thing beside my influence in coaching, what I love is the person who I am becoming as a coach. So that my personal transformation is also so amazing.
Yeah, well, I think that's really exciting. I think we've all kind of, entered into parts of our lives where we're doing something that's just not congruent with,
Mhm.
our passion or what
Yes.
we're meant to do. And it's like this deep-seated intuition that says, I need to be doing something else. I actually got that myself. I had attended law school many years ago and thought, I'm very studious, like I need to be a lawyer or whatever. And I I ended up dropping out of law school with straight A's. I had
Mhm.
good grades, but really deep down, I just couldn't shake this feeling that, I needed to be doing something else. Like
Mhm.
this was not for me. And it was making me sick too, because I was stressed,
Yes.
And I think our bodies really react, especially with food, very sensitively to what we're doing in our lives. And so if it's not really our mission or whatever the true purpose of what we should be doing, I mean, like the difference between that and the joy that you feel when you're doing what
Yes.
you should be doing
And stress
is
is
amazing.
equally damaging for our gut health. The
Mm-hmm.
whole cortisol hormone, the stress hormone, it is damaging for microbiome. Absolutely, not only directly to microbiome and indirectly to mucosa, because our microbiome is so absolutely unbelievable. We have different bacteria. I call them friends with benefits, work for us. So they produce different chemicals beside vitamins and all that that strengthen the mucosa. So when we have a good balance and we feed them, they work to keep our gut lining healthy. And even when we eat good food, clean food, but we are under constant stress, the cortisol can wreak havoc on our gut health. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And so, what really was the tipping point that made you start focusing on gut health? And I know gut health is something that, I don't know, it's not
The
necessarily a
tipping
term that I.
point was when I was getting ready to present,
Mhm.
and I was mesmerized when I started learning and researching and reading materials. I couldn't believe because and what was also shocking for me that in medical school we never learned. We learned, of course, the digestive tract as a organ of digestion. Starting from chewing in the mouth and all the way to the anus. But we never. And yeah, we learned there's some microbes, there's some lymph. system in our gut, but that's it. And basically, our majority of our immune system resides in our gut. Then when I started learning different strains of probiotic and the power they have, or the effect when we don't pay attention and we don't have those, for example, bifidobacteria. There are strains of bifidobacteria, different species that, for example, helps with weight loss, with histamine, with food sensitivity, with oxalate sensitivity. So basically manipulating the microbiome, you can change the body, the whole body. It is unbelievable. So that is all that knowledge. When everything came together, I was like, wow, I cannot believe this. This is so amazing, you know. Then I started fermenting food, then started experimenting, creating, I don't know, squash yogurt or carrot yogurt. And so, it's so much fun. And
Well,
I'm
a
still
little bit of
learning.
science.
And
Yeah.
I'm still learning. Yeah, it's a science per se, yes. And what amazes me that, you know, all the autoimmune diseases, not all, specify most of the autoimmune diseases tying back to the gut. So with simple steps, you can reverse chronic diseases. This is, for me, mind-blowing.
Yeah. And I know that, now that you work with clients, sometimes you can have frustrations. And I know just as, the clients ourselves, as we're going through, things.
Yes, so for me, the biggest frustration is when you see, when I have a strategy session with clients and I know I'm able to help, and they don't decide to work with, not only with me, but any type of coaching, because they're afraid they won't be able to be on elimination diet. They cannot give up pasta or pizza, or that makes me feel sad, you know, because when your life is, you barely surviving, you know, when you don't have quality of life, then really that is such a small sacrifice to give up bread or pasta for a period of time. It's not even forever. That makes me very sad, because I mean, and so many times people in their mid-40s, they're barely just going to work and from work to bed because they have no energy. They are on a handful of medications, feeling bad. You know, when you take so many medications, you start having side effects of the medications. You need more medication to calm the side effect. And you know you can help. You know, it's that's frustrating. It's so sad for me, you know, because yes, I understand it's not easy. I understand that, you know, especially we grew up around food. Most of our cultures, if you celebrate something, you celebrate with food. If you mourn something, you mourn with food, right? If someone dies, food. If someone was born, food. So it is not easy, but it's very achievable and so worth. I mean, if in order to give up pizza and bread and milk, but to halt my MS or lupus or psoriasis, doesn't that work? Absolutely. So there is a deeper issue which I like to work with. That is a self-worth, you know, the value that's again a very broad. We don't value our health. We pay attention to our health when it's something wrong, right? So why we shouldn't start in the very beginning, but invest in our health? I always like to say our health is like our bank account. We have to put in good food, exercise, movement, uh, sunshine. You know, we have to invest in our health. Health doesn't happen. Yes, some people are so lucky. Yes, they're born with good genes, can be. But majority of us have to work.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's my own passion, teaching, cooking. Great health starts in the kitchen.
Right. Yeah. And I think part of it, is that and I'm a half Italian, half Japanese. So there's very weird, two very, very different cultures all in one. And so, the Italians love, the meats and the cheeses and the, pastas and pizzas and focaccia and all of that. And of course, I love all of that. And then,
Mhm.
since my mom is Italian, I love that Italian food. And I'd actually visited Italy in March, kind of on a delayed honeymoon. And I noticed I didn't get stomach aches from eating some of those things. And I think it's because they process their foods differently.
Yes.
And it's almost like a sacredness around food, the way
Mhm.
they produce even just, the cows, that make the milk and the cheese and whatever. I mean, it's just their philosophy around food is much different. I think, in the US we're rush, 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 and so, I mean, there are very few people who have time to prepare a real good meal at home, just because we're rushing. And it goes back to the, self-love, you know, is it worth it to take care of yourself, or, would you want to be sick? I'm starting to
Absolutely.
learn that
Hmm.
more and more,
Yes.
just as a, and I'm a young person, but I've had a lot of struggles, myself, just with not taking good care of myself,
Hmm.
and I take care of everybody else, but I won't take care of myself. And I'm really starting to realize, that is
Yes.
not the way I want to live, and it's, and it almost, you have to, hit a breaking point and say, okay, this needs to change. It just has to change.
Yes. And the thing is, when someone has gut problems, you go on elimination diet, but that doesn't mean forever. Once they, so that is again a huge problem. Why is wheat so damaging? The GMO, that is the problem. The modern wheat is different than ancestors used to have. So it's the molecule is made in the lab, and everything artificial for our body is strange and very irritating, causing inflammation. So the gluten is very, very large. It's not as a gluten used to be. Other thing, dairy, through pasteurization, the casein molecular structure is changed. It's again something artificial. Plus, the way cows are conventionally kept, with large doses of antibiotics, growth hormones, that gets into the milk, cheese, every dairy product. So we ingest that. And the other thing is our microbiome has changed. We have much less diversity with the modern lifestyle. So once you replenish the microbiome, heal this and seal the mucosa, you can go back to have, of course, not every day pasta. You will have sparingly because your body will be able to manage. So you can have pasta occasionally. So you're not giving up forever, but you have to give up at the time of healing and repair. You have to.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense, and it's encouraging to hear that you're not giving up, some foods that you love forever, because
Forever, no.
yeah, it's not
And
forever.
exactly, and just the knowing that you can have it makes us feel better.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, comfort foods. Now, I read your mission a little bit in your bio, but could you expand a little bit more about your mission?
Yes, my mission is to reverse chronic diseases by changing the diet and lifestyle. So, what I like to do is empower people to understand that regardless of your situation, you can make a change. You have the power at every given moment we make choices. And I am in the power to make the choice. So if I'm going to choose to cook a healthy meal today for me and my whole family, or am I going to watch TV and stop by McDonald's or wherever, anytime. So building a good health takes some time, takes some work, but so worth it. And also I like people to understand because we live in a culture that everything is so beautified and age-related, and many times I talk to women, for example, late 40s and 50s, panicking. Oh my God, I'm getting old. I said, so what? That's inevitable. We all age, but it's a huge difference the way we age. And I like Ernestine Shepherd's example. She's a beautiful, stunningly beautiful 86 or 89 years old bodybuilder. When I see her, I feel bad about myself. But I say, okay, I want to be like her. So I like to teach people that aging is a numbers game. If you take a good care of yourself, your physical body, emotional, mental, spiritual, you will age gracefully. So, and I refuse to be limited by my age. Yes, we have to make changes. Absolutely, yes. We have to behave differently than in 20s, 30s, 40s. But absolutely, everything starts with building a good health.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense, and I even noticed myself, I can't eat the things that I had in college, and I actually have a lot more trouble sleeping now than I
Mhm.
did in college, so I mean, just things change over time, and so you have to be able to have
Absolutely. Yes,
the
different
ability to
approach.
adjust to it. Yeah.
But yes, adjust our lifestyle. Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we actually, we have some bonuses. So I'm just going to put this into the chat. But techdoneforyou.com/Ilona webinar, ILONA WEBINAR. So we do have a gift for people today, and I know this is somewhat time sensitive. So if you're watching the replay, go to the link right away so you can get it. But can you describe what gift you have for us?
Yes, this is a webinar when I will be talking about 3 simple steps to reduce inflammation, shed belly fat, and regain energy. So basically, I will be talking about, again, not difficult to guess, gut health, about hormonal imbalances and inflammation. So it's a very chat-full information, useful, very easily to implement. So I would love to have your audience come because you will learn a lot. Plus, during the webinar, I have many other bonuses and some fun stuff. So yes.
Well, we love bonuses and fun stuff. We
Yes,
definitely do. And I think it's really nicely done as well, just because sometimes, it's just making these small changes, and like neither one of us are actually that overweight. And I'm not trying to lose weight, but I know that I definitely am often making poor health choices, because of, poor planning, poor meal planning, and so having checklists and stuff like that, or even just some of the resources that you create, I think that stuff is really helpful, not only to be organized, but to be intentional, so that you're lining yourself up for success. Yeah.
absolutely. That is the most common challenge that people face today is not having time for
Mhm.
cooking.
Yeah.
But as you said, having a meal plan spread at least for a week, creating a shopping list, and on off day when we have little time, do batch cooking. That's very helpful. Then also I teach my clients, staples, for example. I have always wild cut salmon in my freezer. So when I don't have time, it really roasted salmon or grilled and, for example, cauliflower rice, you make it in 20 minutes. So I have those staples. I have eggs, I have nuts, seeds, I have canned tuna. So I always have the staples. So when I don't have any plan or I couldn't go with my plan, I have those backups. Or just take from the freezer something and defrost and have a meal. But I cook everything. When I used to work in research, people used to make fun of me because I would drink my green smoothies like, oh, what are you drinking? Then one day I got so mad, I said, okay, but I'm not taking medication. So you might make fun of me. I really don't. So yes, smoothies are a big help because you can make them fast and pack them with so many good stuff. So yeah, and just people coming to the webinar, there will be a download. So
Very good. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. So it's going to be very informative. So that's, a very good link for you to follow, techdoneforyou.com/. Ilana webinar. So thank you for offering that free gift. I think also, some people will attend the webinar and really need a little bit more help from you. I know myself, I sometimes go through cycles where I'm doing pretty well, with what I'm eating and I'm feeling better. And then I backslide. and so you actually do teach a program as well. I'll include the link here. techdoneforyou.com/Ilona Gut Health, ILONAGUTHEALTH. So could you tell us a little bit about that program
yes,
as well?
that is my group program, online group program, which I'm opening cards next Thursday, week from today exactly, on the 26th. This is an 8-week group program where I will be providing recipes, meal plannings, and teachings, a lot of information, different topics regarding gut health. For example, teaching the right supplements, right probiotics, how to choose the right probiotics, food combining. If you struggle with food sensitivity, what to do in that case. Then I am a big giver, so I will teach extra. I will teach toxicity, how to remove, how to detoxify your kitchen, how to detoxify your skincare and personal care products. So how to set up yourself for success, because many times we usually health coaches don't teach toxins, and I realized that gap and need. So I took many classes to be able to teach my clients. So that will be extra bonus. Also, the extra bonus will be hormones, hormonal disbalance, obesity, and toxicity. And the highlights will be weekly coaching calls. So every week we have about an hour coaching call when I'll coach. I'm ready for Q&A sessions, and usually, depending what the group, I usually see the post, the questions, so that I will address during the coaching call. And of course, the Facebook, closed and secret Facebook group. So it's a very safe environment for everyone. But the highlight for me is the calls, the group calls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
I
I
think,
do a
having
lot of work on mindset
Mhm.
also, because it's so crucial. Because how many times I know exactly what I need to do, but I'm not doing it, because then we go back to see what is the resistance, what is holding you back. So it's a very, very in-depth program. I will say it that way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I am interested in it as well. And so, you may be seeing some emails from me reminding people, that it's an
Mm-hmm.
important program. And I think, especially, that it includes all of those coaching calls. I think that's a big advantage because, I've personally taken home study courses before, and there's like a lot of material and it's almost overwhelming to consume. And so if you don't have these, coaching calls on top of the material, then sometimes it's just like you purchase it and then you don't use it. And
Yes.
so, you know,
Believe it or not, when in the beginning of my coaching career, I bought many programs just to see what other people do. Not to say mine is better, yours is others. No, just what can I do to improve my coaching, my services. So, and I noticed that many times you get the material, download, and you are done. And I think people need more support. More than just the plain text and the recipes. So that is I decided. And the Facebook community is very active. I'm daily in the group. And what is good, once you enroll, you can stay forever in the group because I don't close the groups. And once you enroll, you have always discount for the next program I will going to be launching. So I appreciate my clients, so I give big bonuses. Yes.
Well, I think that generosity is really important, because I've definitely taken courses before with, the end of the course, then you're kicked out of the Facebook group. And then it's like, but you don't always, sometimes the problem is ongoing, like it's, ongoing. And so you need to,
Yes.
you need to maintain, your
Yes,
choices.
and we learn what not to do. Believe me, I had programs I didn't even finish the promised 10 calls. And they said, okay, your time is over. I said, okay. So I said, I will never do that. Never. Or, my biggest pet peeve is when you have a call and you reach the minutes and they cut you off in the middle of your sentence. Your hour is over. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to go a little bit over. So I'm a generous person. You will learn soon.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, really important to have, really just a caring professional, guide you through some of these decisions. And I know myself, I just, I need that reminder. And I think part of it is mindset and self-care, that my health is really important. It's like one of the top priorities. And then for
Yes.
some reason, I kind of let other things distract me. And so, there really isn't many things that are, it's like your health and your family. I literally have a post-it note next to my computer now that says health, family, I'm religious, so God, that all those things are really important to me. And so if I'm, distracted by other priorities, and then I'm making kind of bad choices or not taking care of myself or not eating the right foods, I had to really step back and I, kind of had to say, Gina, you are worth taking good care of yourself.
Absolutely.
This is, the time in your life that your body's sending these little signals, like, this or that stomach ache, that's a signal from your body that something's wrong. And, and I have to listen to it. There's just no ignoring it because, that's when the diseases and the stress and,
Absolutely. Yes. And what is amazing, Gina, it gives hope. Our bodies are so amazing and so forgiving. So once we start listening and paying attention and feeding the good food, good emotions, happy thoughts, our body will restore and rejuvenate. So that's so hopeful for everyone. So regardless what is your situation, you can make change. Sometimes, maybe not completely, to go back to your totally healthy, depending on every person is different, how many damage happened already to the body. But in many cases, you can, oh my goodness, yes.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear because, I actually grew into my allergies. I used to eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich, every day in third grade. And then by, I think it was high school. I think I was maybe a sophomore in high school. All of a sudden I had an anaphylactic shock. And so my mom had cooked, a meal with some soy, and we thought that soy was kind of healthy. So, soy, and then I think it had maybe peppers or something like that. And it turned out, I went on a walk and I started to have this horrible, allergic reaction. And I sat down on the grass, which I'm allergic to. And so my parents are like, something's wrong if she's sitting on the grass. And so, and I started, all of the symptoms, the hives and your blood pressure plummets, and you literally do get this weird feeling of like impending doom, like something is really bad, something is really wrong. And so, and I later found out, and luckily I was able to go to the hospital, get, epinephrine, get, the histamines, all of this stuff, the treatment, because those reactions, and I've learned since, you have maybe a 30-minute window, after you eat something, that you're allergic to. And luckily right now I'm also seeing, after years, it's been many years since high school, so I've gone to holistic doctors and I really turned to holistic medicine because You go to traditional allergists and they pretty much, I literally had an allergist say, eat cabbage. Like if you're allergic to all these things, soy, nuts, beans, whatever, the list was literally like 3 pages of the things that I was allergic to. And he's like, oh, well, you can eat cabbage. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I have to eat every day,
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat cabbage every day. So, so it's been a struggle, myself, trying to figure out, and I still have allergies, I still have sensitivities. So
The problem with conventional medicine, again, I respect my colleagues. We don't manage the best way chronic diseases. We are excellent in trauma, but chronic diseases, we basically just put a Band-Aid. So, but the functional medicine is emerging, which is so beautiful when you look for the root cause. So with allergies, you have to go back and see when you first time had your allergies, what happened in your life? Disease, antibiotic, stress, trauma. Because allergies mostly tie back to leaky gut. When you have multiple food allergies.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because, I think maybe the first holistic doctor that I saw, he said, what else was happening in your life at that time? And I said, well, I was taking a lot of AP classes, so, these advanced placement classes where I was really pushing myself to do well academically. And so I was taking AP chemistry, AP biology, AP English, just all of these AP classes. And so all of a sudden my stress, kind of went way up. And I was kind of not in congruence, I guess, with the things that I really wanted to learn. So I was just kind of forcing myself to just take AP everything. And so and especially I think it was chemistry, which normally I actually liked biology, but chemistry, I didn't like the teacher, and it was very stressful for me, and I got a B or whatever, which is like horrible if you're, if you're an A student, so I had, kind of an unusual amount of pressure that I was putting on myself that sophomore year of high school, and my body was going haywire. Like it was literally just completely all of a sudden, rejecting, all of these. I mean, it was amazing how many things came up on that, that scratch test. And I remember being kind of floored because the holistic doctor, I mean, he literally opened a holistic book that had kind of like the personality profile of my kind of person who suffers from that, that sort of allergy. And he said, does this happen to you? Like, oh my God, I think he's like reading my mind. But it was eye-opening, because it's not just the body, it's your mind and your spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to just remind people of those links. So that webinar, if any of this resonates with you, I mean, if you're just struggling with your health, you have some frustrating things going on, maybe it's just that you want to lose a little bit of weight, whatever it is, that webinar is going to be really important. And it's, it's practical information. We're not forcing anybody to eat carrots or whatever, cabbage,
No.
whatever it is. I mean, it's still going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And so techdoneforyou.com /Ilona webinar. That's the free gift. And then I really do encourage people to check out the program. If you really struggle, I mean, just the way I do, if you struggle and you have, real serious ailments, and of course, we're not I'm not a doctor or anything. This isn't medical advice, but I mean, it definitely is. I mean, every day we eat, and every day, these things impact us, and so if we're not mindful of them, and it's a very small investment to just learn about it, now that this information, I think even in high school, this information wasn't really at my fingertips. I didn't really know about it, so, there's so much more information that we have now, to really take advantage of it if you need it, if you're struggling, if you hurt, if you have stomach aches, if you have that brain, I mean, I have that crash still, 3:00, whatever, that time of day, when you lose energy, so that link again is techdoneforyou.com /Ilona gut health. So any closing thoughts do you have for us, Dr. Ilona?
But basically, that's it. Take a good care of yourself, your body, mind, spirit, and your body will thank you. And the other thing is, I will repeat myself, you are empowered to make great choices. You have the power. And the question I want you to ask for your next meal, when you take a bite, ask yourself, is this good for my body, giving me energy, building blocks? Or is this good for my taste buds, giving me empty calories, chemicals, and toxins?
Yeah, yeah. And I love how you say it
Good
goes back
health
to
starts in the kitchen. Join
mm-hmm.
my program. I'm so committed to teach everyone to home cooking because you have the full control. You know what is in your meal. It's much cheaper. And the interaction while you cook with your family member and eat together, it's a totally different possibility.
Yeah, yeah. And I love how you said it's about choice and empowerment, because it really isn't just, eating whatever, it's really making, deliberate choices to be healthy,
Absolutely.
to live a good
And
life, to be.
health has to be number one priority, top, highest. Because if our health is not in a good place, all the success and everything, but I it's sad also when I see people complaining, oh, I cannot buy organic food, it's expensive, which I agree, it's pricey. Yeah, I agree with that. But also I teach how can we compromise. But then you see they have the newest gadget, which is okay. I like also, don't get me wrong. They have a newest outfit or newest car maybe or most expensive cable package. So where is the priority? I
Yes.
don't compromise on health. And during my life, I survived the war. We lost everything. So I've been through many. I can compromise with many things, but not health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I drink green smoothies. People think I'm weird. So what?
We'll be weird together and healthy. How
I'm
about that?
good. But you will have energy. You will have glowy skin. You will feel good. Yes. But it's not about smoothies. No. It's more than that.
Yes, yeah, it's the full picture. It's
Mhm.
really our life. It's not just your gut. It's your life. It's your life. It's true.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So I'm going to repeat those links. The webinar, the free webinar. Go ahead. This is time sensitive, so when the replay goes out, go to the link and register for that. Because that's going to be chock full of really helpful information. So techdoneforyou.com/Ilana webinar. And then I highly encourage you to, check out the program as well, just because, we all eat, we all, are on this earth. And so, the health and life, it is.
Yes. And we are put on this earth with a purpose, right? But to live our purpose, we need strong body, strong, healthy body.
Yes, yes. So again, techdoneforyou.com/Ilana Gut Health. So thank you so much, Ilana, for joining me today. I am so honored to speak to you about this really important topic. I think now more than anything in my life, this is probably the most important thing, to focus on. So I
Thank you
really
so
appreciate.
much, Gina, for having me. It was my pleasure. So absolutely appreciate you inviting. When you said tech and me, oh my goodness. I'm challenged with technology. So, but it was such a wonderful time spending with you. And
Yes.
I hope I can inspire some of your peeps that at least start thinking differently. Once we are aware, then the change can start. So hopefully we did ignite some change.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me, and I will, post the replay and, of course, the links, to the gift and the course. And so I encourage everybody, take care of your health. All right. So signing off. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.